Hi everyone, this is Jack Partlow with Partlow Funeral Chapel, and in today's video we'll be starting a series called Ask the Funeral Director, in which we cover commonly asked questions from those after their loved one passes. Today's video will cover 5 common questions that we hear, and in future videos we hope to gather questions from you guys either through Facebook or our email. You can send us an email directly, but today we'll be just covering 5 questions that we commonly hear, and we hope that they provide value to you. So question 1 was, how do I obtain a death certificate and what are they used for? So a death certificate is the official document that declares what the deceased passed from, as well as their vital information, so their full name, date of birth, social security number, pretty much all the information that would distinguish who that person was. And to obtain a death certificate, once a loved one passes, you will meet with the funeral home, and they will usually take all of that vital information. And in the case of our funeral home and here in Tennessee, once we obtain that information, we enter it into an online program, and we assign the case to the physician that will be signing the death certificate. And once that's signed, we can take a request over to the health department here in Wilson County and obtain as many death certificates as you may need. Death certificates can usually take anywhere from 3 to 5 business days usually to have that doctor sign the death certificate and to get those back from the health department. As far as what death certificates are used for and really how many you'll need, that's another question that we get quite a bit, and that really just depends on each person's situation. Death certificates, especially certified copies of death certificates, are usually needed for anything that the person who passed had ownership to, and anything that has money involved with it. So bank accounts, titles to any vehicles, life insurance policies, stocks, bonds, anything that has any money attached to it that may need that proof of death in order for the beneficiaries or the next of kin to receive what remains. So our second question is, how is Social Security notified, and is there anything I need to do after my loved one passes? So we get this question quite a bit, and Social Security is automatically notified when the death certificate process is completed that we spoke about in question 1. So once the death certificate information is put into the online portal and the physician signs and everything's finalized, Social Security is automatically notified. And even though they're automatically notified, we usually still recommend that families call the office, and around here it's the Gallatin office that's the closest to us here in Lebanon. So we just recommend families call the Gallatin office and make sure that they don't need any additional paperwork such as birth certificate or marriage certificate to arrange for payments to continue to a spouse or to a underage child, really whatever the Social Security office deems necessary in that case. So third question I've got down is, what do I do if my loved one passes away in a different state or country? And this is a question that we've gotten a lot more frequently in the past few years than ever before, just because it seems like more people are moving away from where they were born, or maybe they have parents who moved away and retired somewhere such as Florida, and they may pass in that area, but they still want to have services here in this area, in Lebanon, for instance. So let's say in a situation such as that, maybe you have parents who passed away, and they moved to Florida when they retired and they passed in Florida, but we want to have services here in Lebanon. So first step would be to contact the funeral home, and then we would reach out to a funeral home there in Florida just to make sure that your parents were picked up and everything was taken care of, and then we would arrange to either drive down and pick them up or arrange for a flight to have them transported back here to Lebanon. And then once they were back here in Lebanon in our care, we would arrange to have services as you and your family would decide. All right guys, so question 4 here is, can a funeral service still be held if I choose cremation? And the simple answer is yes, definitely. This question has come up a lot as well in the past few years with the rate of cremation continuing to rise and the popularity of cremation continuing to rise. But yes, you can still have a service with cremation. And a lot of people don't know this, but you can have a very similar service to a traditional burial with cremation, in which the body is embalmed and it can be viewed just as in a traditional burial, except after the service, instead of burial taking place, the cremation takes place. You can also have a service with a cremation in which the body isn't present and maybe just an urn with a photo is present to represent the person who has passed. The last question, question number 5, is what makes up the cost of a traditional burial funeral? So a traditional burial funeral really includes 3 different parts to it. First part is the services of funeral director and staff. And this includes everything that we as the funeral home do, such as the embalming, the retrieval of your loved one from their place of passing, the visitation, the service, dressing your loved one, and then any kind of miscellaneous services that us as employees at the funeral home and members at the funeral home will do for you and your family after your loved one passes. The second section that makes up the cost of a traditional burial funeral is the merchandise that needs to be purchased. And this includes the casket and then, if you choose so, a burial vault. And both of those come together to make up the merchandise section of the bill. And then thirdly, you have what are called cash advance items. And cash advance items are things that may be purchased outside of the funeral home, but that a lot of times we arrange to make happen just to simplify everything. So this includes certified copies of the death certificate, any floral arrangements, any obituaries that you would like posted in the local newspapers, digging of the grave with a grave digger or any other cemetery charges. So really it makes up any of the miscellaneous charges that are kind of outside of the funeral home, but that may still be included within the funeral bill. All right guys, that's all 5 questions we have for today's Ask the Director. In the future, we hope to get some more questions from you guys. We'll post on Facebook before we plan on doing another one of these videos, and we would love input from you guys on any questions you have, and it can be any topic related to funeral or the passing of a loved one or preparation for that passing. So look out on Facebook for any additional posts, or you can always just email us or message us on our website with any questions you have, and we can get back with you as soon as possible. So we appreciate you watching this video and look for you in the next video. Thank you.